Another huge shift for organizations embracing this is that content marketing is not about a campaign. It's about a commitment to an audience. We're so used to, because of the traditional media environment we've been operating in, we're so used to thinking, well, here's a campaign, this is a 3-month thing, this is a 6-month thing, this is our annual campaign, and we're used to buying and acquiring media in this fashion. But actually, the true power of content marketing is actually saying, we are here for an audience, this is what we represent, this is what value we are going to give to you, and we are here always on this topic. It's less about the frequency with which you publish new content in that model, and more about the consistency, that people understand the consistency, that you are always there, and that this is what you stand for. That you are not just trying to exploit them at the point where they have a challenge or some sort of transactional need, but you're actually there for the long term, speaking, knowing, understanding their space, you're part of them, you are on their side. So as publishers and brands and departments now are all sort of fighting for the same audience, one thing that's become very clear, and this is accelerating hugely even just in the last few months. There's been some very prime examples, I'll share one in a moment. But the objectives of these organisations are all very different. So your objective for what you want to achieve with an audience, or your business model, I beg your pardon, that you want to achieve with that audience is very different to a traditional publisher's business model. And let me share an example of that. Once you produce content, then you become very reliant on getting that content in front of an audience. And not coincidentally, this amplification piece of actually getting the right piece of content in front of the meaningful audience is where media companies are now repositioning themselves to be able to take a much more, because they're searching basically for new sources of revenue. So there's this explosion currently around any way in which you can sell a service to an organisation to help them amplify original content. One of the examples of this, which is getting a huge amount of publicity or both positive and negative publicity, is this term native advertising. At its best, native advertising is journalism better than that of the publication in which it sits. At its worst, it's advertorial of the most horrible kind. Okay? It really depends on the media property and their model around how they embrace that. Let me show you an example of just how crazy some of this media environment has become. I was on the SMH site the other day. I can't quite understand how I got to this page, but I was on this page. At the bottom of this page, you have a service, you're probably familiar with this, is a service called Outbrain, which many media properties use to actually promote both internal links within the site that I'm in, and also links to off-site properties. Okay, so there's a revenue model here for the Herald. There's a paid model for the sites on which these ads are coming from. I clicked, again, no clue why, how to pack a suitcase like a flight attendant. Wouldn't we all like to know? I can share that with you later if you don't get the detail now. Now, what would you expect to get from that? I'd expect to get it to a piece of content that pretty straight away that tells me about this thing. But in fact, I get to a landing page, which is an ad for a totally different product. That ad obviously has a financial value to whoever's paid for the ad on the previous place. Then, if I choose to continue going, I'll get to a splash page which is basically configured for people to share this content into their social channels as quickly as possible before they actually see the content itself. And the most disturbing thing about seeing this is understanding that a large number of people probably do. Then when you finally click through, you get to this page, which again has a little summary of the actual piece of content I was trying to find 4 clicks ago. But if you read down the little bottom, read original article, they didn't even write this. They just stole it off someone else's website. This is the website they stole it off. It's a blog. First line of the blog. Great article from the New York Times. They've stolen the article. They stole it from the Times here. Okay, now the Times was an article, but actually what they're all linking to is the 12-page slideshow. The only reason anyone develops slideshows is to try to maximize page views, because each time someone clicks to the next slide, it's a new ad unit. So the Times has this exploitative ad unit-based product, and then the whole ecosystem piles on and repackages that and tries to take a cut on the spin of the margin. It's a very, very crazy time, and there's going to be a huge amount of discussion and I think a lot of crises points in this whole native advertising model as we go forward.